Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all interrupted a druidic ritual, but not really. You tried to interrupt a ritual, but it kind of like the cast kind of got off at the end there. And a giant tree blight emerged from the statue of Strahd atop Yester Hill. And it was pretty terrifying. But you all managed to actually defeat it before it killed anyone. It nearly killed a few people. And you managed to retrieve a gem from the giant tree blight. And then Strahd like flew away. And now here you are sitting atop this hill, very damaged, holding a glowing, pulsing green gem. The rest of the druids who you did not murder fled. And the world is your oyster. The world is your green, life-giving gem.
Zug is going to sit down, and then he's going to lie down, and then he's not going to move.
Okay. Zug is laying down on the ground
How
now.
hurting is Zug?
I'm 9.
Kane struggles. He's got one of his knees is down on the ground, but you can't quite tell because his robes are kind of covering everything up. And he looks even more haggard and disgustingly exhausted than he usually does. And
he's at like a 7.
he like uses his quarterstaff to kind of prop himself up a little bit, and he leans on it, trying to aid himself and keeping himself up. And he looks over at Ramis and Zug lying on the ground and wherever Syndra is, and he goes, "May I suggest we get the gem back to the Wizard of Wines and perhaps take a rest."
Yeah, I need 5 minutes.
Kane, by the way, for reference, has 7 HP right now.
Yeah, I think Ramis has.
Is Syndra like full HP?
Ramis has 10 HP.
No, I think I'm short like 10.
I think she got like a splinter in her thumb or something.
She's like pretty.
Yeah, I have a skinned knee.
Was Winter Splinter's maw like gross and slimy, or was it just like bark?
It was like spongy bark. It's like a little wet. Like moist. Just damp.
Ramis is like very moist.
Damp.
Ramis,
Not in a cute way.
Ramis is a little wet. And I think he's just like shivering, like standing there, like shivering. Like
it is cold.
He knows that Kane just regarded him, but like he's like a little fucked up.
He's kind of frazzled.
Yeah.
Yevgeny is lying on the floor as well, like his head propped up, and like, what the fuck just happened?
How's Yevgeny doing over there?
He's not doing great. Although I think Ramis did give him a healing hand.
Yeah.
So he's like okay.
He's not dead.
He's stable, but he's laying down also. And like he's like trying to lift his head, and he's like, what was that? But he's not in like a great communicative state as well.
I think we can muster our way downhill and take a proper rest, have some rejuvenating food.
Oh, and then come
maybe
back
some
up.
wine, and then yeah. I mean,
Sounds
that tree looks evil.
How
right?
long of a walk was it here? It was just like
some odd hours.
From the Wizard of Wines?
Yeah.
Probably several hours, like 2.5 to 3 hours.
Okay, that's not a walk.
No, it is beginning to, like, you guys left in the morning, and this battle has taken place over the course of like the day, but it's like not that late. It's still like afternoon. So the sun is not setting anytime soon, but like will probably set on your journey home.
Yeah, let's get the fuck back.
I will crawl my way up from the ground, using my spear as a cane, just like Cane. And
How's Sindri doing? What does she want to do?
Hi guys, I ran and got a snack.
So
What's everyone doing? Healing, resting, or are we gonna?
we're gonna
Laying
walk.
down.
Okay.
So as we're like slowly trudging our way back, Ramis will kind of like, he's like hobbling forward, like holding his cloak like tight to his chest, and he's like shivering, but he starts like subtly singing like a beautiful tune that's like, I don't know the tune, but it sounds beautiful. Yeah. And, anyone who hears, I think this is the way this works. Anyone who is listening, who presumably everyone is because it sounds great, gains 11 hit points back.
Really?
Oh damn!
Roll a performance check. I won't make you roll it with disadvantage, even though I feel like I should.
Just to see how dope it is.
To see, yeah, how good the song is. To see who's listening.
23.
Okay, everyone's listening. It's a
Yeah.
good song.
Yeah. What I
It's
do-
even more impressive that he's like barely able to like hold himself together, and yet this sound is still so mesmerizingly beautiful.
How
I
many hit
imagine
points?
like the 11, like the American Revolution. You know, that stereotypical like, with they're all bandaged and walking and still playing their instruments.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
it's just a one-man band.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, I feel a lot better. I feel like 40% better.
Yeah, just in case we get like fucking ambushed or some shit.
Yeah. Too many werewolves out these days.
So you all are leaving Yester Hill to travel back to the Wizard of Wines now?
Yeah, we'll take the same route that we came up.
Hmm.
I'm thinking.
Okay. Okay. So you make your way down the hill through the rows of cairns. The clouds and lightning actually continue to strike the hilltop above you. And off to, so now that you're traveling down the hill, you're heading north right now. And looking off to your left, off to the west, you see Strahd still out there staring into the misty wall. And you make your way down, and it begins to become nighttime over the course of a couple of hours. The sun begins to set. And along the way, you all are chatting, and Yevgeny asks you about payment. So he sort of goes up to Kane, and he nudges him. He says, "I think this is all the service I will be able to provide for one excursion."
That is quite fair, Yevgeny. I suppose we actually, I think we still owe him the other half or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
You
sounds
do
about
owe him
right.
80.
Yeah.
80 gold.
Yes.
Jesus.
I suppose we still owe you the other half of your payment. Excellent work, by the way. I am both impressed and surprised, but quite happy that you stuck with us through that entire endeavor.
Yes, well, I'm glad to know what lives up there so that I never need to return.
Indeed, indeed. Well, we're heading back to the Wizard of Wine, so welcome to join us. But as promised, and Kane digs into his pouch and he pulls out the already pre-separated coinage and hands him the small burlap pouch of coins.
He grabs the little burlap pouch, he nods at you, and he says, "Thank you. I'll be heading back to the Blue Water Inn. You do know where to find me, should your services require me again, but payment might be higher next time."
Kane smiles at him and nods, knowing that he's probably already reached his limit at this point in terms of usefulness, but he doesn't want to insult him at the same time.
And he bows out and limps away at the sort of Y of where you all would turn to the Wizard of Wines, and he heads
Welcome
straight.
for the heel, bitch. Jesus. Could have left him there. Then we wouldn't have had to pay him.
Seriously.
No.
Oh my god, that's true.
Thank me for saving his life.
What the fuck is
What's
that?
your alignment again? I forget.
Chaotic good. I'm not all good.
All right, and you all make it safely back to the Wizard of Wines, right at the cusp of dusk. And you turn in and you see out in the yard, two young boys, playing outside in the tiny sprouts of vineyard that are beginning to grow in the area where the first gem was replanted.
Nice.
Do we want to turn in that seed before we tuck in?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you all head towards the estate, I presume.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you open the door and you are greeted by Stephania, who is the daughter of Davian. So you all met the Mordakov family, and I'll help you because names are hard, even for me. Davian is the grandfather, he's the patriarch. He was the one who sort of like beckoned you when you first came to the Wizard of Wines long ago, and it had been overrun. Davian has 4 children. The children that, and you've met all 4. There is Adrian, who's the oldest son, who fought alongside you as you all went fought the druids at the Wizard of Wines. Stephania, who is his daughter, who you're being greeted by now. And Stephania has a husband and 4 kids, and the kids are around the property. Erwin, who is the Blue Water Inn keeper, who is like estranged from the family. And he told you, Erwin actually told you the story, like at least part of the story, a really long time ago when you first went to the Blue Water Inn. He was like, my shipment's been stopped. I don't know why. I don't know if my dad's mad at me. But Erwin was actually on watch 10 years ago at the Wizard of Wines when the first gem was stolen. And so his dad basically like blames him and thinks that it's his fault that the gem or the seed went missing. And he kind of like became alienated from the family. And now he's at the Blue Water Inn. He owns that tavern. But he doesn't like see or communicate with his family. At least not his dad. Like his siblings don't have as much of a problem with him, but his dad is like pretty mean to him. They have a really bad relationship. And then Elvir is the youngest son, who also fought alongside you as you went through the estate at the Wizard of Wines, and was also who you found caged and captured at Baba Lysaga's hut, in the cage. That was Elvir, the youngest son. So yeah, you've got Davian, and then you've got his 4 kids, 3 of whom live at the winery and the estate with the family. Adrian, Stephania, and Elvir.
He's coming to greet us.
So Stephanie has come to greet you at the door.
I don't even know. I don't remember Ramise's fucking voice.
Yeah.
Ramise will.
Oh no.
I guess I'm assuming he has the gem because he reached it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're holding.
Oh
it.
yeah.
Unless
yeah,
you gave it to
yeah.
somebody else,
I don't
which I
remember.
don't think you did.
But yeah, I think Ramise will, reach into his cloak. He's feeling a little better, feeling him height, and we'll be like, Stephania. We have found something that we think your family might be interested in, and he'll like hold the gem forward and smile.
She, like, her eyes like go wide, and you see like the green reflection of the like bright gem reflecting in her eyes. And she reaches out to take it and like brings it up to her face like in disbelief. And then she looks up at you. You found this at Yester Hill?
Yes.
Found, yes.
Um,
A group of druids were performing some kind of ritual. Strahd was there.
she's like, everything that you're saying, every time you like reveal a new piece of information, she's like in like disbelief again, like what?
We must rest.
She says, please come inside. And she beckons you all in and calls for the rest of her family, who all come into the main area to greet you. And they lead you. They lead you into the like main dining area, where they have been preparing dinner, and they weren't expecting you all, so it doesn't look like there's enough dinner for everyone. But you see Stephanie immediately like runs to the kitchen, and she's like starts preparing more food for you all to eat. And her children assist her. And all of the rest of the Martikovs are here to greet you. And Elvir is holding the little tiny baby girl who you met a very long time ago at the Wizard of Wines. Her name is Yolanda. She's like a year old.
Oh.
And she's like screaming and crying and like wailing. And she like turns her little tiny baby head over to see the group, and like her humongous eyes like scan each of you while she's like wailing. And then when she makes eye contact with Syndra, she like stops crying and just stares. Like,
The
I'm just
baby
gonna stare back.
and then she like smiles.
Oh.
I'm gonna make weird faces back.
She seems to enjoy the weird faces.
Nice.
So there's like a teenage boy, there's 2 like young boys, like 10, 11 years old, and then Yolanda, the little baby. And the 2 like younger boys like start like prepping the table and like putting out all the dinnerware, and bringing you all like bread. And you all sit down at the table with Davian, Adrian, Elvir. Also Stephania's husband, his name is Dag, he's there too. And the kids. And eventually Stephania comes, she brings a bottle of young wine.
Oh.
Young wine.
That's a good-
And pours wine for everyone. And they ask you to sort of recount the story, which I don't know if one of you wants to do it. I'll allow it.
Singing in a ballad.
As is like fate, they will just like slumped over. And they're like asking us to tell the story.
What, how did you find it? And Adrian like is holding the gem now and looking at it. He's like, the second seed. Incredible. How did you do this?
I know Gramis. Like, sing a song. Sing a song about us.
You can
I just like laying on.
Like you're a heel, but you're still exhausted.
and Dag, Stefania's husband, like notices that you are clearly exasperated. And
well, just like bloodied and beaten.
yeah, and bloodied and beaten. And he says in like the most like therapist voice ever, he's like, you know, I think that we could wait to hear the rest of the story until tomorrow. I think you all have really earned some food and some rest for this evening.
Oh. Reese is about to cry.
Is there anything else that we can do for you?
I think it would be quite an honor if perhaps once the wine is flowing again, maybe one of the varietals be named after Ramis here.
Reese perks up at that.
So like Adrian, like the oldest son, he like looks confused, like does not compute. Elvir just like starts bursting into laughter. And Dag is like, I think we could definitely consider that as an option. You are the hero after all.
Reese looks at Kane and kind of musters a smile and then looks back at
Dag.
Dag. Says, perhaps it should be named after Winter Splinter. Is this name familiar?
I don't recall, but if that feels important to you.
Jesus. But no, I'm just curious. But this will help me formulate how I will tell the story tomorrow after we arrest.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think you may have to provide context
Right.
for Winter Splinter.
This is,
But again, we
this is what I'm
can
understanding.
work out those details tomorrow.
This is also.
Yes. How about some more wine?
Yes. Perfect.
And like while this conversation between them is going on, and like Elvir is like laughing, he thinks that this is hilarious. Elvir like elbows Zug and like motions like to follow him. Come this way.
What?
Come with me.
I look back at the wine I'm enjoying, and I look back at him, and I'm like,
He's like,
"What?"
like, trust me.
I slam my hand on the table, and I get up, but I don't let go of my wine.
You're like you're holding the wine glass.
Yes.
Yeah, bring that.
And I follow cautiously.
He leads Zug downstairs to the cellar that you all have actually been to before.
Oh, snap.
And the cellar opens up. And if you all remember, the last time that you were in this cellar was when you were dealing with a bunch of druids, and one of them cast a like
They shattered all
a
that
shatter
stuff,
spell
Yeah.
and shattered all the bottles down there. And now coming down into the cellar, it is pristine. It is in perfect condition. All the walls have been relined with like beautiful shelves. They've like installed these like gorgeous torch fixtures with like lighting all over. So it's actually really bright. Maybe almost too bright. And
It's bad for the wine.
there's some old bottles that have been like restored, and there are some new bottles that are now sitting, and there's 5 casks along the wall as well. And there's a big table in the center with big goblets. And he picks out one of the older bottles of wine and opens it and pours it.
Damn.
And he is basically inviting you to get like delicious wine drunk with him as you all celebrate the victory.
I chug what wine that I have, and then I drop my goblet in shock and just be like, by the power of Grayskull, this is amazing.
Yeah, I thought you might like this.
And I'll step forward towards that table.
All right, and you all are hanging out, enjoying some wine downstairs. And back upstairs, as you all are enjoying the rest of your dinner, Stephania has prepared a really delicious special dessert for you all. And
Mm.
it's a cobbler.
Oh, what fruit? Grape cobbler?
No, they're actually stone fruit trees in the back of the
Oh,
vineyard. And she's used several different stone fruits.
Damn.
Cherries, apricots, peaches, whatever cobbler you want. It's got 3 different varietals.
Damn.
One
of each.
And while you are enjoying your dessert, one of the young boys, who like looks like 10 or 11 years old, he comes up to you, to Ramis at the table, and he's got this like, he's made a little like origami star out of paper, and he like puts it down, like slides it next to you and like hands it to you.
Ruiz is like taking his cobbler and then notices out of the corner of his eye. He takes one big bite and he's like chewing and picks it up. He's like, what is this?
And he looks at it and he looks down. He's like, it's a star. I think it's really amazing that you brought that back for us, and I wanted to make a star for you. I made the star. Mom has been teaching me to practice my origami skills, and I just learned how to make a star. I know it's not that good, but I hope you like it.
And Ruiz's mind is like, why the fuck is your mom telling you to practice your origami? But to the boy,
You're gonna need this when you're older.
and says, your origami skills are unparalleled.
Unparalleled.
Keep it in this pocket for the rest of my life.
And he like runs away from you. And then Davian is like sitting at the end of the big table. Patriarch just like sitting there. He's like eating his bread, like kind of tearing away at it with his teeth. And like kind of like muttering to himself, looking a little displeased. And he's like eyeing you all a little bit. And you all are enjoying your delicious dinner. Yeah. Do you all want to engage more?
Yeah, Ruiz
Okay.
will like be finishing up his cobbler, presumably having noticed that Davian is being quiet and just like being a fucking buzzkill. And just kind of be like, Davian, what troubles you?
He like looks up from his plate at you. He like nods. We still can't make the best wine. And he like picks up his wine glass of like mediocre wine, like sips it, and like winces a little bit, puts it back down.
You are a true artist, Davian. And I understand that this wine couldn't possibly be up to your standards of what you would like to offer for all of Barovia.
And Stephania, who's now sitting down and also enjoying her cobbler, she chimes in. Don't pay him any mind. These gems were a gift and have no claim on them besides the fact that they have been in our family for generations. And Adrian, who's sitting next to her, like looks over at her and he's like, you and your stories. Stephanie like looks back at him and eyes him, squints at him. She says, they're not stories. She says, the ladies 3 were real and they gifted these gems to our ancestors.
Hmm?
And Adrian replies, it's just an old fairy tale, Stephania, you know that.
Maurice will kick his legs up and be like, yeah, I love a good fairy tale.
Stephania looks at you and she says, well, if you love a good fairy tale, it's the wrong fable because it is true.
Fairies are real. I don't know if you know this.
Adrian does not know what he speaks of. She says, how, and she looks back at Adrian, how else do you explain the creation of our kind in Barovia? It was the seeker, in fact, who created the ravens, the were-ravens in Barovia. And Adrian says, again, just fairy tales. And he like dismisses her and waves her off. She shakes her head and goes back to eating. And you all continue to have a pretty pleasant.
Maurice is trying to get at
Oh yeah, no, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't
You can ask more questions.
Well, just tell us the story.
Well, the seeker of the forest, she always had a connection with ravens. Ravens are highly intelligent birds and they have high seeing eyes. And it's said that the seeker in her true form has raven feathers where her hair might normally be. The ladies originally gifted my ancestors these 3 gems. The 3 gems were gifted because our ancestors created some peace within the valley. They were mages who helped the forest folk and the people who settled here come to settle some of their differences. Unfortunately, the forest folk have had a civil war going on for centuries due to some of their split beliefs. Some believe that the ladies birthed Strahd and that he is a direct result of them, and others believe that Strahd stole the lady's power for his own to become immortal. And because of this, the forest folk have been fighting for ages and their numbers have greatly dwindled. But we still remain. The ladies, we haven't heard from them for quite a while, but I still believe that they remain as well. And we greatly appreciate you delivering this gem to us. It is very precious to our family. It's important to our history.
Is each of these gems tied to a specific fame then?
Perhaps. We will never truly know. But the 3 gems all have helped produce different potencies of our wine over the years.
I believe the story. What? What do you believe of the Fanes? Do you think they are part of Strahd, or that he stole their power?
It is obvious that he has stolen their power. He, as we all know, has desecrated their shrines. And until we're able to restore those shrines, Strahd will stay in his current powerful state. I think the ladies are out there.
Why have the shrines not been restored?
Well, unfortunately, it's quite complicated to restore the shrines. You need to have a lot of power to be able to do that. We haven't seen that kind of power here in Barovia for quite some time. Maybe until now.
Until now.
She leans in a little bit. I have some information. She says, let us speak tomorrow. And I will share what I know. And she looks back at her brother, makes a face at him, and then continues back to eating her food. And Adrian is rolling his eyes.
At that point, Vermees will leap from his chair and just stand up and be like, it's time. You all heard the story of Winter Splinter. And he'll tell the most daring, amazing, death-defying narrative, giving immense credit to each of his party members for their Zug's strength, for Syndra's skill, for Kane's intelligence and prowess at spellcasting, and of course for himself and his own bravery when he finishes the story with leapt into the beast's maw and pulled from it your family's heirloom. And he will not mention Yevgeny once. He will not even mention the fact that he was there.
Still stealing everything.
Tell the whole story, just as though
Got him.
he wasn't there. And then he will and with that, I need to go to bed, and we'll retire.
Amazing. So after a long evening of eating and recounting the tale, and as you're recounting the tale, all the family members are oohing and awing and hanging on the edge of their seat and really impressed and in awe of everything that you all have done and accomplished. And of course, they offer you lodging for the evening, which you take. At this point, Zug and Elvier are drunk out of their fucking minds.
I'm sleeping in the cellar.
Zug falls asleep on the table in the cellar. Elvier falls asleep on the floor. But the rest of you all go to your respective lodging areas, which you all get your own room to sleep.
Long rest. I'm getting these HPs.
Long rest, everyone.
I'm clicking the button.
Click that button.
You all are rejuvenated and restored.
While I'm skill semi-conscious, I will also attune to my blood sphere.
Oh shit.
Ba-ba-bow. If I can figure out how.
Was there any consensus on what that jeweled quarterstaff was for?
So it's a staff, it's ornate. It probably is worth a little bit of money, but no use to you all.
Okay.
You want to use it to boot people.
No bonking. Gotcha.
Oh, can it be Remese's
you could make it a walking
tip
stick.
cane or something?
Yeah, totally. You could definitely use it as a walking stick. 100%.
Yeah, what's it look like? It's just wooden and
It's
has,
wooden,
embedded jewels.
like twine sort of wrapped around, and there are at the very top, there's like a whole bunch of jewels. It's almost like a mini mace at the top,
Okay.
but with little jewels in various different jewels around the top.
That's not Ramisa's style. That Kane can use it as his Kane.
Walking around with like dual canes.
Okay. And then you all go to bed and you all wake up in the morning feeling rejuvenated, restored, except for Zug, who has a headache.
From what?
From your hangover.
I'm hanged over from my hangover. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you all wake up and what do you want to do this morning?
Ramisa's gonna go find what's her face? Ramisa's gonna go find the lady who had information.
Yeah, Stephania.
Stephania. I always forget.
Stephania. So you go and you find Stephania, and you actually find her in the bookkeeping room. There's lots of papers and ledgers in here, and she's sort of fumbling through some stuff. And as you walk in to greet her, she looks up. She says, "Come in." And you walk into the study, and she shuts the door behind you. And she leans towards you. She says, "We recently were able to recover some missing pages from an ancient tome."
The Tales of Your Sisters 3. Or whatever they're called.
No.
Oh.
This is in fact the tome of Strahd himself.
How did you find this?
She says, "I actually did not find this. It was delivered to me by other keepers of the feather. But I do trust where the information has come from." She says, "A lot of people believe that these are stories, but I believe, and many of us Ravenkind believe, that these are real. The Seeker, the Thane who created Ravenkind in the valley, we have recently learned how to recover her shrine. Have you heard of the symbol of Ravenkind?" And Ramis remembers that the holy symbol of Ravenkind is one of the relics that Madame Ava told you that you need to find. And you have heard of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is the relic that is in the Amber Temple. And you know that at this point, but
I don't know.
Ramis knows that, yes.
I think, Ramis was saying. Yes, in fact, it is our fortune to recover it.
Your fortune.
Never mind.
And Ramis Ryan really hates recalling information to NPCs.
Well, I just don't people not trust Vistan, or what are they called? Those people?
The Vistani?
Don't people not like them?
As a party, we don't really trust them.
Some people,
But in Barovia, I thought they had a reputation.
they're very mixed. Some Vistani are great, and some are bandits and shitty. It's very.
That's why Ramis was
Yeah.
I'm not getting into it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel,
but But you do know, especially after speaking with Mordenkainen, that specifically Madame Ava, she's not a Vistani. She's in the Vistani encampment, but she's not actually one of them.
Mm.
And she is highly regarded by everyone in
Okay.
Barovia.
Have you ever heard of Madame Eva?
Of course.
Yeah, well, she told me. she's a friend. She's cool. She's all right, I guess.
Hmm.
She texts me every once in a while, and I just like ignore
We're like peas and honey.
it.
You can see like this information is like processing that Madame Ava told you that you need to recover the symbol. She says, yeah, so this artifact, it needs to be returned to the seeker. The holy symbol of Ravenkind was a gift from the seeker to the faithful of Valley. She says, the way to reconsecrate her shrine in the forest is to use the symbol of Ravenkind to resolve darkness. And after she says this, she like understands. She like thinks to herself, that's ambiguous.
Yes.
She says, the holy symbol of Ravenkind is like a mirror. It reflects. And in order to reconsecrate the shrine, you need to use it to face your own inner demons. Now, what exactly that looks like will depend on you.
But we need. Wait, so that's what the locket does for anyone who holds it, wields it.
You're asking that to her?
I'm just clarifying what you just said. That's its effect on anyone who wields it, right?
She said that it reflects, it's like a mirror,
Yeah.
and it forces you to face your darkest self.
But what does that have to do with reconsecration of the altar?
Well, in order to reconsecrate the seeker's shrine, you essentially need to use it at the shrine in order to see yourself and see what you may become or may have become, and see what your darkest self could be capable of.
But just anyone has to do this. No one in particular.
Not anyone in particular. It needs to be someone who has the ability to recover the relic in the first place.
I think I might know a guy.
Once you have this relic, once you face your darkest self at the shrine, the relic then needs to be returned to the seeker.
Return to the seeker. But the seeker is gone.
She is not gone.
Centuries.
She lives. I do not know her true identity. But you may be able to find out more information. I have heard that there are libraries within the Amber Temple. I cannot go there, but you can. Another important thing, when you do acquire the symbol of Ravenkind, when you do approach the shrine, it is important, it is highly important that you recognize the seeker, that you recognize her name and her presence, and that you dedicate your performance to her. It must be known that you are there to do this duty, and you must say it out loud.
How do I do this?
You just have to
Say it.
say it.
This is good because I'm an improviser. I'm glad it's not just some strict verbatim kind of thing, you know?
And it doesn't have to be a fancy poem or anything, as far as I'm aware. It could just be a, hey, here to do this. Here for you.
Is that what you would say?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
But it is important to recognize the forest fane
Hmm.
and to honor her by name.
Okay. So the seeker is the forest fane, and all the shrine we did find is the mountain fanes.
The shrine on top of Yester Hill is the mountain fane.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they have different names, and it's very confusing. I know.
Yeah.
There's the mountain fane, who's
There's the
also
hunter.
known as the huntress.
Huntress.
Yes. There is the forest fane, also known as the seeker. There's the
Weaver.
swamp fane, also known as the weaver.
Okay. Well, we're talking about reconsecration. Do you know anything about? Do you know anything about the huntresses? Walter?
Unfortunately, being Ravenkind, the only information I have is about the seeker.
Who would be aligned with the huntress?
Forest folk.
The forest folk?
The forest folk.
But I thought the forest was the secret.
Yes, there's a seeker of the forest, but the forest folk actually
Are the mountain people?
are worshippers of the huntress.
Jesus. I'm not confused. You're
Right.
confused. Okay. Okay.
That is confusing.
Have we okay, the forest folk are the people we just slaughtered.
Pretty much.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
The forest folk are like the druids and the berserkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for this information.
She says, I believe that you and your friends hold great power. It is clear to me that you hold great power. If there's anything that I can do or we can do to assist you in your journey, know that our doors are always open. And if I find any more information, I will bring it to you.
Thank
And she says, we should go now. Adrian is about to plant the second seed. And she ushers you out and collects the rest of her family and you all, and ushers you outside. And Adrian has dug a hole in a plot next to the area that has started to regrow. And he plants the seed gently into the ground. And everyone in the family like takes some dirt and puts it over the seed
you.
one at a
They're,
time.
they're burying it.
I don't think that's how you use it.
And
I think you're supposed to eat it.
and even like the two little boys like grab little handfuls of dirt and like,
Aw.
put them on top.
That's cool.
And even baby Yolanda is in better mood today.
Does she put some dirt on
No,
it?
She eats the dirt.
she's just a baby. But she is still making a side-eye little eye contact with Sindra every once in a while.
Hmm.
She seems to like you.
Nice. Syndra will maintain eye contact as long as the baby will also maintain eye contact.
They'll stare at each other for like a good 5 minutes. Yeah, so you all have learned that you'll need to vanquish the visions of the seeker, and figure out who she is and return to her a sacred relic of her kindred, the symbol of Ravenkind,
Damn.
which is conveniently located in the Amber Temple, which hopefully will have more information.
Yeah.
And as you all are witnessing this ceremonial burying of the gem, I will take passive perception from each of you.
Oh, Schnippy.
You'll
Mhm,
take passive. You mean a perception check?
No, but what is your passive?
You have a
perception?
passive perception. What is it?
Yeah.
17.
11.
What is my passive perception?
20?
Yeah.
Yeah, Syndra's the perceptive one.
Elves.
Boop, boop.
Syndra and Kane, you both notice some rustling in the forest behind the vineyards. That doesn't sound like normal rustling.
Abnormal rustling.
You hear like rustling that sounds, yeah, like
Mm.
not like a normal like animal or bird or something you'd expect to go by.
I'm gonna send my owl to fly over into the high part of the trees over there, see if I can see anything.
So you send the owl over through the trees, and the owl like kind of looks down in between the trees. The tree line's kind of crowded, but can see there are 3 humanoid beings in like right at the forest edge.
Just humanoid, can't make out anything more than that.
I'll send the owl further down into the tree line.
Sure.
Okay. So the owl like dips and dives into the tree line and gets a little bit closer, like behind the humanoids. And you see 3 forest folk are standing and facing you all and like looking through the trees at you. There are 2 women and 1 man.
Kane's going to casually saunter over toward Ramis and say, I believe we may have some visitors. There are forest folk at the edge of the tree line, just over there.
Ramis will like squint and look.
And you look over there and you can't make out a lot. And as soon as you look over in their direction, they emerge out of the trees. They have no weapons.
They're unarmed.
They are not posing they're not looking like they're trying to threaten you. And one of the women, she steps forward and she puts her hands like forward like this. And she starts to speak in Druidic. Do any of you speak Druidic?
Yep.
I'm hoping the druids around us can speak Druidic.
They're
There's raven people.
they're
Yeah.
they are not druids.
I don't. No, I don't. I don't think I even have any way to magically understand them.
No.
So so like the woman is still kind of like this. It's like almost like she's trying to like calm like a beast. This, and she's speaking Druidic. And then she stops and she thinks. She says, "You, Strahd, bad."
I'm gonna look at my party and then look back at this woman.
Not Strahd.
I'll point to myself and say Strahd.
Remiz will point at Zug and say Strahd.
We're all just pointing at each other. Strahd, Strahd.
She's like shaking her hand. She says, No, Strahd, no.
Remiz will like gesture Strahd left. Strahd is gone.
Strahd skedaddled.
And she thinks again and she says, You come.
Remiz will look at our family, host family, and just like, what expression are they all making right now?
They're all like just as curious as you are.
Okay.
And don't seem to know what this is about either.
I'm going to announce to the party. Well, she convinced me. And I'll take a step forward.
Remiz will nod and come along. Yeah.
Go, Sindra.
Same.
Hey, y'all are going with the forest folk. Love
Folk. I mean, we've killed so many of them. What could they possibly do?
There's probably another wine stone.
And the rest of the family is like, we're gonna stay here.
Yeah.
But Stephania is like interested and she's like, I want to see what they have to say. And she like comes with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you follow them into the forest. And as you go through the forest, interestingly, you like don't encounter as many like things as you thought you might. Like there's normally a lot of like animals and birds in the forest, but they seem to have like a clear path that doesn't have a lot of animals or threats. And eventually they take you to a small clearing in the forest after you've been walking for like, I don't know, like at least 15 minutes. So you walk for a while into the forest, into the depths, and you reach a small clearing where there's like a fire area and a bunch of like small like cots, and there are more forest folk, and as you approach they stand, and in the center of the group there is a tall, thin, like sharply angled looking woman who appears to be like cleaner than the rest of everyone else. And she steps forward and she examines you all, and she's like holding a large staff. And she looks at the three who brought you here. And they like speak in Druidic to her. And I would do it, but it would just sound pretty weird.
Do it.
I don't have Druidic.
No.
I don't speak Druidic.
No.
But they say a few sentences to her in Druidic, and she nods at them. And she says, You are foes of Strahd.
No.
I'll point to me and go, Strahd. No.
I'm going to use a minor illusion to create an image of Strahd in front of me, and then use another illusion on top of that that like causes a red X to go through it.
Yeah, okay. So you're like, for sure. And she says, I am the priestess of this tribe. My people saw you yesterday at Yesterhill.
Yes.
It's like very broken English, yeah.
Yes.
You killed Winter Splinter. She says, you also killed Baba Lasaga. You are champions
Oh.
of the Fanes. And she looks at you. Truth?
We would like to restore the things.
She nods. She says, sit.
Yes, we'll do as he's told.
The forest folk have been here much longer than anyone else. We have seen everything. We have seen the rise. We have seen the fall. We have a connection to nature that no others have. Yesterhill used to be our home until we were divided. Many believe that Strahd is their new master, that he now controls the land. We know, she taps her chest with her fist, that the ladies are still strong. We know, and she taps her chest again, that Strahd has stolen our land. And she says, the tree has been corrupted. The tree must be restored. But you must know what it is that you seek. She continues, the huntress, and she points to the inner circle where there's like the fire area, and there are these like ornate like antlers that are sitting next to the middle of the fire, and like it looks like these are like stag antlers that had been carved by someone. And she says, the huntress, she preserves. It is something that is natural. And she's like continuing to like speak in pretty broken common, but you are getting most of the gist. She says, you must honor the huntress by enduring her trial.
No.
Her name, Huntress, her trial, beneath the tree. Under the tree, a plane between life and death. You must go there. You must know that you seek it and you look for it. You must endure the difficulty. And all the other like forest folk are like looking at her and like nodding, like they don't really understand what she's saying, but they're like,
Yeah, sounds good.
exactly right. Underneath the tree, a pathway to the land of the dead. You must reconcile. You must endure. You must atone. You must receive her visions. And if you emerge, the tree will be restored. Do you understand?
Yes. No.
Can you go over that one more time?
I will go over it again.
So we got to go to the tree, knowing that we seek this in between, this liminal realm. Enter it.
Yeah.
Receive the vision. And like,
Mhm.
survive it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so this priestess has basically told you that under the Gulthias tree is where you will find the huntress, and that there is a plane between the living and the dead, and there will be a trial that you will need to survive. And it requires all sorts of things like atonement, like fighting of some kind, and enduring of some kind, non-specific. And
Oh boy.
that you will need to then receive the visions from the huntress, and that is how you will restore the tree and the shrine.
Not bad.
But another thing that she's mentioning is like, you must know what you seek. So she's telling you, you have to know what you're looking for to find it.
Meaning trying to find the huntress, or like
This like plane of existence.
just that we need to like
Yeah.
approach knowing that we're trying to find
And
it.
that like you might be entering into a plane that exists between the living and the dead.
I mean, we're kind of already in one. Barovia, fuck it. You know, who cares?
Mhm.
When in Barovia, die in Barovia.
From the frying pan into the frying pan.
Right. That's right. Remise will nod and say, we understand.
She says, honor her name.
That's what I'm supposed to do, right?
And as she's like speaking to you, Stephania like leans over and she's like, you need to say her name at the shrine.
Do we like, and her proper name is just the huntress?
Huntress.
Okay. There's not like a
Yeah.
druidic name that we need to call her by.
You must honor the ladies by name in order to reconsecrate.
Remise will whisper, the huntress.
And you all are like sitting there listening to this priestess, and she says, you understand. Be warned. It is possible you will not emerge. Do you still understand?
That's true. Every night I go to bed.
He is very old.
She like looks completely stoic at all of you. She's not cracking a smile or laughing at all.
Ramius will turn back to her and ask, like, must we all go?
No. Only one.
Shit.
But together you may survive.
Oh, I thought it was like we had to just be one. Okay. We will go.
Okay. Great. So you now know where you need to go, how to honor, and a basic offering of what you might need to do. And she continues. If you need to speak to forest folk of mine, she says, use this. And she hands you a really like small piece of bone that has been carved with very tiny and intricate like hunting ritual, like little hunting engravings.
Runes.
Mhm.
Is it like a little whistle?
It's not a whistle. It's just like a little tiny curved piece of bone. So you now have like a
Ramius looks a
token.
bit confused. Looks at her.
show this and they will know.
Oh.
He says, many forest folk are not safe. Be wary.
Hmm.
She says, if you must find us, use the bone.
Nod.
She nods. And she like dismisses the group.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Do we have to find our own way back?
Where, how did we get here? We're lost.
Do you ask that out loud?
Yeah.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Would we? I mean, I guess it would behoove us to go back the main way rather than find our way through the forest.
She speaks to the three that brought you here in Druidic, and they rise and escort you back to the winery.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And you arrive back to the winery after visiting fucking Narnia.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
And Stephania is like, she's like pacing. She's like, unbelievable. She's like, do you know how to reconsecrate the swamp shrine?
Not yet. But we'll start with what we know.
She nods. Will you need supplies for your travels?
Ramius looks at Zug.
Yeah. We will.
He says, whatever equipment you need, we'd be happy to provide. You can also stay here if you would like to stay longer.
Thank you. Believe we will do as the forest folk told us today. Right?
Yeah. And I am gonna pause this here. I know it's
What?
a little early, but I
You
want to
don't
pause.
want to go to the Gulthias tree?
We're trying to get
Uh,
up to that Goliath.
well, okay, if you want, I can let y'all get there and explore, and we can pause before you venture in.
I'm fine pausing here. It's fine. You guys are going to be gone 6 months, right? We're not going through the portal anyway.
We do have one more session that we
Yeah.
can do,
Okay.
where I will be prepared to run the Gulthias dungeon.
Nice.
Boy.
Nice.
Josh has been waiting for this for like 2 years since the death house.
That's
Y'all have
true.
no idea how long I've been waiting for the Gulthias dungeon. The fucking plane between the living and dead. Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
How long have you had
you.
this cook like in plan stage at least so you could pull it out?
Wait, was that a question? Sorry.
Yeah, how long have you had that kind of sitting somewhere on your desk ready to roll?
Like a year and a half.
Wow.
Whoa.
A year and a half, you told us not to go in the forest because we couldn't handle it.
That's true.
You can't
handle the force.
alone. You were escorted through the forest by the forest folk to the high priestess. You could not do that on your own. You would get lost and die.
YOLO.
That's true.
So, okay. So we'll pause here at the Wizard of Wines and y'all can venture off on your next session. We can do that one as our last one. So to recap, shit went down today. You all delivered the egg to the Wizard of Wines. You had a really fucking good time. You watched as they replanted the seeds. You heard Stephania recall some stories about the Fanes. And Stephania told you that she had some information from the keepers, and she trusts where the information came from, even though she didn't find it. It didn't come from her. And that information was that you, in order to restore the shrine to the Seeker, and the Seeker apparently has a very strong connection with Ravenkind. The Seeker is supposedly the Fane who actually created Ravenkind in Barovia, and she has this like link to ravens as a future seer. And you all actually know, like in, I don't know, ancient lore and Eastern European lore, ravens are like third eye, like, you know, future seeing, sight seeing. So these ravens sort of have this connection with like sight and vision. And so the keepers have a very special bond to the forest fane, the Seeker. And her shrine, to restore it, you will need to recover a holy symbol of Ravenkind that Madame Ava actually told you need to recover, and that you would need to use this relic at the shrine to face your darkest selves. And once you do that, you return the relic to the Seeker, and the shrine will be restored. And then you watch them plant the seed and restore the vineyard even further. Also, not to mention that Elvir gave Zug a ton of delicious wine, and they got drunk and passed out, and Martin gave you a tiny little star, and that was cute. Baby Yolanda stared a lot at Syndra. Some side notes. And then you all got summoned into the forest by forest folk who apparently have been spying on you for a while, because not only did they know that you defeated Winter Splinter at Yester Hill, but they knew that you defeated Baba Lysaga. So they've been watching you. And these particular forest folk who led you to their priestess, they know of the Huntress, and they have a connection, a deep connection to the mountains. And they told you that you would need to go to the Gulthias tree and look for a look underneath for a dimension to a plane between the living and the dead. And there you would face a trial of the huntress to restore the shrine. And both important note on both is that they both told you, both Stephania and the priestess both told you that it was important to honor the ladies by name as you approach the shrine or as you are in the shrine. So it's important to like recognize them and make sure that you are saying verbally that you are doing this for them. And yeah, they just pulled you into the forest, told you some shit, and then sent you on your way. And they are now eagerly and expectantly awaiting that you complete this task. To
problem.
restore the huntress of the mountains. And y'all have no idea about the swamp, but hopefully more information will come.
I was trying frantically to type up a real quick paragraph while you were saying all that, and I think I may have bled some things between the lines. Correct me with whatever I have in here. I put it in the recap section in Nano. And basically what it says is return the seed to the Ravenkind, got approached by forest folk about restoring the forest fane and using the holy symbol of Ravenkind to face our darkest selves in another plane between the living and the dead, then return the relic to the seeker to restore the shrine, the fane, and the Gulthias tree. It's important to honor the ladies verbally and exclaim that we are doing this on their behalf.
We merged the two Fane quests.
Yeah, they did get.
Oh, those are two separate ones?
Yeah. There's
Okay.
the mountain and then the forest. The forest, we need to retrieve something from the Amber Shrine. And the mountain one, we need to go to the Gulthias tree and do the tests.
Yeah. So to restore the forest fane, aka the seeker, you need to use the holy symbol of Ravenkind to face your darkest selves, not in another plane. So the seeker quest came and like the seeker knowledge came from Stephania, which actually I guess technically only Ramis knows at this point.
I mean, he hasn't had a chance to share it with everybody because we've been busy.
Yeah.
But he will.
So in order to restore the shrine of the forest fane, aka the seeker, you will need to recover the symbol of Ravenkind, go to the forest fane shrine, and face your darkest selves, whatever that means, and then return the symbol to the seeker. So that's like the first one. That's the seeker quest. Then to restore the huntress shrine, the forest folk told you that you will need to go to the Gulthias tree, find the plane between the living and the dead that lives underneath the Gulthias tree, and you will need to survive or endure her trial, whatever that means.
Be a long jump.
And that and both told you, so Stephania and the priestess both mentioned that you would need to honor the fane by name before you were able to reconsecrate the shrine.
Mm-hmm.
And who was it that told us about the holy symbol of Ravenkind?
That was
facing our
Stephania.
darker self? Stephania?
Yeah. The daughter of Davian, one of the Mardikovs. Oh yeah. Y'all have some hooks.
You're just a bit of a hooker tonight.
How do y'all think Strahd is gonna feel about you doing this?
He's cool. He's gonna be cool with it.
Yeah.
He's going to be really excited for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's quickly discuss what you all want to do next time.
Fucking cone the trials of the huntress.
You want to do the
Yeah.
trial of this.
We're gonna
Well,
burn
Yeah.
that
it's
tree
right here.
down.
We may as well.
Hell yeah. This is gonna be a fucking dope dungeon.
Are we going in at level? What are we right now? Level.
I think you're level
8. 8?
If you're
Yeah.
not 8, make sure you're 8.
Yeah. I think we're 8.
Are you not?
Wait, you guys are level 8?
I'm
Yeah,
7.
she told us.
I'm
No,
sorry.
she told us a while ago to be level
Dinged
8.
after Winter Splinter and ding
Oh wait, no.
late now.
Oh shit. Yeah, I think I'm level 6.
No.
Oh wait, here we go. No. It says, oh, that's weird. Yeah, I don't understand my UI right here. It says Kane, male variant human wizard 6, level 7, level 8 underneath it. What level am I?
You're all the levels, Kane.
Oh, you're talking about that line?
Yeah, what is
supposed
that?
I think that's supposed to represent like an experience bar. Because there's even smaller numbers, like 23,000 out of 34.
Why does it say wizard 6 then?
Because you're level 6.
And then
Right?
it says level 7, level 8 with a line in
Oh.
between it.
Oh, I don't know. Just set yourself to 8. Because I'm 7. I didn't know that we leveled after.
You're gonna be level 8 now.
Okay.
Okay,
I
level
got
8.
so
Got it.
drunk, I got very powerful. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I just need to keep drinking. I think I can just change myself to 8, right? Ability score.
Okay.
I want it.
And we'll prepare for what we're gonna do next time.